Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Rwagnation League Grand Prix here in Russia. It's the F2 series first. We got the one-shot qualifying, the feature race, and then the sprint race. And then shortly after that, we'll be doing the F1 races as per normal. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me at the commentator's desk as per normal as well, it's the lad himself, Mr. Safso. How you doing?
I'm doing quite splendidly this evening. How are you doing?
Good. It would help if I actually pressed the right button, though. I went to the in-game where we are now. So, Russia. This is a circuit where we've seen many times. It's very easy to overtake. It's also very easy to make a lot of mistakes. You definitely don't want to be doing that when it comes to penalties, because if you get too many penalties, you will find yourself way down the field, as we've seen time and time again. Now, speaking of penalties, somebody who does a very good job of keeping himself completely clean is Hayden Gullis. I'm actually going to go on board with him for the run in towards this lap, the one-shot quali. Here he is then, charging up towards, this is turn 2 effectively, because that little right-hander earlier on is turn 1, coming into now turn 3. Very nice and neat through there. Foxy is currently your race, or pole leader for now, with Hayden chasing down. Aviator as well. This is looking pretty good from Hayden. Just needs to keep it a bit neater through there. Into turn 5, this is a good opportunity to overtake. If you can get on the outside through turn 4 into turn 5, then you are going to be looking really good. One of the many areas that you can get invalidations or penalties here. You don't want to run too wide, and watch out for the wall on the left. It does come out quite nicely. You want to move really far wide here on the left. Then you want to come back in again to clip the inside again. Don't run wide, you will invalidate. And then left-hander here, sorry, get right in there. Just a bit tighter to the apex ideally. Run wide. And then here, this is one of the most important corners. I'd say this is the second most important corner on this circuit, because it has a huge DRS towing opportunity right here. You know, in the F1s, obviously, you've got the ERS to use as well, but in the F2s, it's purely down to exit speeds and the DRS tow. He's going to have to brake hard here to get himself right in to the right-hander. It took a very nice and interesting line through there. I've not seen anybody do that, but it works for him, so I'm not complaining. Into this left-hander here. Watch out for the sausage curb on the left. You can easily destabilize your car, and you want to be careful on the accelerator too, because it will just suddenly kick out. Watch the wall on the left here. It does come out much more than you think. And then 2 corners to go. A double right-hander. Here's the first. Again, don't run wide. Track limits are so important on the circuit. And now the most important corner, the final one, as you come and set yourself up again for another push. And Beaker, sticking to Beaker ways, getting himself on pole position. A fantastic lap from him.
Yeah, not much though to Piloto, who I believe is his teammate at the moment. So it's far from over in terms of the win. He's not going to just run away. Look at that, 44 thousandths of a second. Yeah. He's got his work cut out for him. Yeah,
I mean, Carlin looking very good coming into this, and Lewis Hamilton would be very happy with Piloto's time there. A 44 gap would be perfect. So yeah, Beaker on pole, so he gets the 4 points to help kickstart his weekend, with Piloto Paya in 2nd, Jack 3rd, Aviator 4th, Eterno 5th, Hayden Gullis 6th. Markin breaks that 1 second margin and is P7, Foxy P8 with Raymond Oak P9, Default P10, Gio in P11, Burrito Bonita P12, Tiger Jr. 13th, Puff Puff 14th, Landos Milman, Marquez and Jeb all DQ'd, but I've heard from Landos that he accidentally hit default setup. He didn't mean to go with what he has, but it's cost him.
And I very well know the pain of default setup, because that's what I had in last week's RNL F1 race.
Yeah.
So
and I know he scored well though.
Yes, and with neck pain. So I don't know quite how I did that still.
Maybe you should have neck pain and default setup more often.
Yeah, I'll just quickly get up to business after this race.
I'll just go and crack my neck.
Yeah.
Actually, I was actually pretty happy with myself. That was the only I jeffed you for your only race you'd scored points in, so I was able to claim that was the only reason you got points.
And that's taken away now.
Yeah, you've ruined my life, so thank you for that.
I mean, you still commentated on it, so you still had some part in it.
Yeah, I guess.
You didn't commentate to jinx me, so appreciate that.
That is also true. But the drivers are all on the grid boxes, getting ready for the start of the feature race, which is a 25% race around the Russian circuit. I think 7 laps, I believe, is what a feature race is here. Oh, look at that, nailed it. I am so amazing. You know, we're already having our formation lap kicked out and underway, as BK is going to be leading us around. His teammate in tow behind him. And then Jack, P3. Now, Jack is somebody who has proven time and time again he has a lot of pace in these F2 cars, but quite often we see him not quite doing as well as he should be when it comes to consistency. I've seen him fall back many a time. I mean, Piloto Paya is on the medium compound tyres, so he's going to struggle in the lead up towards turn 1. The The Univirtuoso team have just taken each other out, it looks like. So they're going to be reset to the grid. Puff Puff Marquez having a similar sort of situation. They're also at the back, but our boys, we call them the Veloce boys, Aeterno, Hayden Gullis, 5th and 6th. They've got their work out today.
And Hayden actually just very nearly hit Joe Turner, so we'll have to be very careful, obviously. With the kink in turn 2, it's very easy for accidents to happen. Obviously in lobbies, they're very open lobbies, they're very common. Hopefully we won't see any today, but you never know with the F2 cars. Obviously the braking zones are different from what they'd probably be used to. So it's this kind of thing of, they don't group up at turn 2, they take their time. And actually, I believe the Vulture boys are on different tyres, or is that just on my end?
Ravenduck and Ploto are the only two that are on different tyres for me. They're on mediums.
For me, Ravenduck is on super soft and Aeterno's on mediums.
No, he's on super soft for me.
Well, how about that?
Is he weaving for you right now, Aeterno?
Yes.
Okay. What does he actually have? What color tire does he have on?
Yellow.
What about in the
which
graphic?
is the medium. Also medium.
What? He has super soft for both for me.
And then for Ravenduck, he has super soft both on track and in the graphics.
Nope, mediums for me on both on track and graphic. Okay. This game continues to impress us. There is
but not in the correct ways.
Massive backlog of cars here. Have you seen this? The gap that's been built up. Aeterno and Hayden Gullis. And now I think Foxy is just saying, I've had enough of this. Oh no, it wasn't Foxy, it was Ravenduck. He's had enough of this.
Geo as well.
Yeah. They're all heading off, getting ready for this race start.
And there's a lot of people disqualified as well.
Yeah, there really is.
Is that the most we've had disqualified for Information App before?
Possibly. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case.
Well, that's going to be 6 people with very cold tyres at the start, so that'll be very interesting to watch at the back.
Alrighty then, well strap in, get ready, because we're about to get underway with the feature race here in the F2s at Russia. 7 laps of, I can only imagine it's going to be pretty hectic racing, as Bika and Plotopaya are going to be leading us away for the start. It's a long run up towards turn 2. Starting first here has never proven in the past to be beneficial. You only have to look at the Ferraris in 2019 to see that for yourself. But here we go then. The lights are on at Russia. And it's go time. Bika looks to have got away quite nicely. Jack looks like he may have got away a little bit better than that. And so has Foxy. He is absolutely flying through the grid now, trying to work his way around the outside of Aeterno, who's stuck on the inside here. It's coming up towards turn 2. We need to be careful coming in, as Jack's going to be going around the outside here as Bika coming into it now. Who's going to hold out the most? There's a big mistake there.
No.
It looks like Aeterno's been caught up. I think he's desynced for people. It looks like there was a lot of carnage, and he is now down in P7.
It looked like there was a fairly big crash in the turn, so I didn't see the whole picture. And what that was turning game damage, wasn't it?
Yeah, Plotopaya down in P14 now. I think he's got no, he's got full front wing, just somehow ended up all the way down at the back. He's actually going for a move here on Puff Puff coming into this right-hander here. He's going to try and look for the inside. I think that was a done deal. Yep, Puff Puff surrenders the position, and on they go.
And I'm next for Peloto is Marquez has already made a mistake in the left-hander. Is he going to try and dive down the inside, or is he going to stay back? Yes, he's going to stay back. Very wise. As I believe Hayden's about to make a move on Geo. On the straight. Yep. Nice simple on the straight.
Yeah, I mean, there's no DRS here, so that was just purely a good XM. And they're still alongside of each other. Geo is going to be right there on the inside. Hayden's going to have nowhere to turn in. He's going to get run to the edge of the road, but Geo makes a bit of a mistake there. Hayden's still alongside of him. Actually, now, this favors him because he has the inside. Hayden Gullis up to P4, but Geo's gone for a send. That's a bit ambitious. That was never going to work out, but it hasn't caused any carnage. Aeterno's gone for a move on Geo. That's also backfired. He's fallen down to P6. As a result, Default and Marken, they're also changing places too. Default stuck on the outside through the second to last, but he has got himself up to P7. Well, let's have a quick look now that we are at the end of lap 1. The position changes are as follows. Geo is up. No, that's not right. You have to wait.
No,
we'll have to wait. Lap 3, we'll do it.
So,
unfortunately, the telemetry is bugged.
I was going to say Beaker's still leading, but he is not. He has fallen way down.
I'm confused here. So,
Yes.
Jack is P1. Aviator P2? Yes. Aviator P2. Who's behind him? Foxy?
Yeah,
Foxy.
I think it is, yeah. And then Hayden, and then... Is that Markham? No, he's very further down.
I wish I knew.
Oh! Oh, no!
Oh, big smash. Air Turner's gone off into the wall of retirement.
Yeah, he had a big collision with Default and I believe someone else. It may have been... I think it was that area of Geo, Markham, and Default. And there was just a bit of a tap. Air Turner lost the rear end straight into the wall.
A tap break for him. Beaker getting the first penalty as well. That is not looking good for him. Then where is he? Down in P11 apparently. I think that might be accurate as well. Here it is. How did he fall down there then? Because both the Carlin drivers had a major issue on the first lap and have both fallen right down the order. In fact, Piloto's actually done a very good job to work his way back up again. He's now P6, closing in for Gio, who is currently gatekeeping P5.
Default and Mark and getting very close. But yeah, Piloto's made a very good recovery. He's looking for the inside of Gio. Gio goes very defensive, then back to the outside. Yeah, I wish we could have seen what actually happened, because there was a very big jump, but I didn't see what happened to Beaker and Piloto for them to fall that far down.
Yeah.
So I wonder if any of them will have the highlight reel available for us to see afterwards.
Piloto Pyre's gone for a move here, down the inside, in towards turn 2. I think he's just kept himself in the... Yes, he has. Well done to him. And Hayden, he's looking for Foxy as well. Now, I know these two have got a lot of chemistry. They've had a lot of banter and a lot of fights in the past in terms of on track. And I think there's about to be another one. There's a bit of a punch there from Hayden to the back of Foxy. Foxy looked a bit out of shape through turn 5. There's kind of... And again, another contact between them, but no damage once more. He's just all over the gearbox, and Foxy is struggling on that rear. I think he's just backed out to let him through. Yes, he has. Foxy will fall to P4. Hayden now on a podium position.
I wonder if that was to get DRS, because they are about to come up to a detection point. I wonder if that was to get DRS off Hayden and maybe get a bit more security.
I think it was more Foxy realizing that Hayden's faster and there's no real benefit to him trying to hold him back. He's better off using Hayden to pull him forwards, because Hayden looks like he's properly on pace today. He honestly looks like he could close in onto Avia really quickly.
Well, if he's got Foxy right behind him, that might be a little bit difficult. But he does seem to be pulling away. Piloto up to P5. Could Piloto catch, or is he going to have to settle for the position he's in at the moment?
I mean, at the minute, he's kind of happy either way, let's be honest, because he doesn't mind if he gains, because it's great, he gets more points, but he also doesn't mind if he falls a little bit, because if he stays, if he goes to like P8 territory, obviously he's going to start on pole for the sprint race, and that's ideal. You do score quite nicely there. A bit of a send in from Beaker on Jeb. Beautiful move there from Beaker, very calculated, and he's now already lined up to go on Marquez. The gap is a bit too big, I think, even with that huge toe and the DRS available to him. I don't think he can quite get the move done. Foxy pulled out of Hayden's DRS there in order to make sure he didn't go for a move, and Default's going around the outside of Gio in towards turn 2. Just about, he runs wide there. He might have to give that position back. Foxy has got a penalty. Gio is ahead technically, and now Default can actually battle him once more. They are literally wheel to wheel coming in towards turn 5. Understeer like crazy for Default, and Gio regains the position, or does he? Because Default immediately goes for a send, a bit of a backhand kick out, but he catches it beautifully, and now Gio will in fact get away and hold on to P6 for now, but he already looks very vulnerable, and he has a penalty. Things are not looking good for him.
No, it could be at least P8, if not lower at the moment. I think Marquez is within that penalty range. He gets another penalty. So yeah, that's surely any chance of a top 8 gone now, if he's got 2 penalties. Speaking of penalties, Piloto's got within Foxy's penalty range and within a second, and has DRS, so looks Piloto will be getting another position, whether he gets past on track or not.
Yeah.
And I think Hayden has actually lost a bit of time to Aviator, so he might be having to settle for 3rd at the moment.
Beaker going for a move here on Marquez. It's a DRS overtake. Nice and simple. He's got himself ahead now up to P9. So the recovery is on. He only needs one more. Oh, which he's just gained because Gio made a mistake. Off in the wall he went. And he's currently just sat there. I think we'll be seeing a retirement in a minute. Or is he just trying to stay out of the way? No, he's retired.
Retired.
Hold it.
It looked like he went very close with default into that chicane, so they might have had a collision. But I cannot call that as of yet.
I can confirm they have had a collision. Who caused it? I'm not sure. But Piloto Paya on Foxy. We're going to see now if he can go for a little easy outside overtake. Foxy's going to squeeze him, but I don't think this is going to favour him at all because here comes Piloto into the braking zone. Foxy will have the inside. Needs to be careful he doesn't get rotated. And Piloto Paya. That was surgical. Very well done from him. Bika Marquez, they're going for another fight. Bika gets squeezed onto the inside and Marquez turns across him a bit too much there, I think. Not enough room given. But damage for Bika on the right side of his end plate.
And that's what we will want with Jeb behind him. Are there any close battles at the moment? Puff and Lando are pretty close, so there could be a little scrap there in the moment. They're outside the top 10, but if something happens ahead, they could maybe scrap up a point or two.
Yeah, without doubt. I mean, they are very close to each other even now. Remember, Lando's is normally very fast in these F2s, but with that default setup, you know, it is really quite awkward and difficult to navigate these cars. I can confirm, default setup in these F2s is absolutely horrible. It's understeer city, as he's finding out now, and Puff Puff is pretty much ready to go now. Just needs that DRS zone here, which is coming up in a second. Just light that up and off he goes. Piloto Paya already on the back of Hayden Gullers as well. So Piloto, who was P2 when this started, fell right to the back, has worked his way right back up again, and he's up into P3 almost as Puff Puff passes Lando's Milkman due to the DRS. Lando's also has wing damage left side, so he will stay P12 now.
Yeah, wing damage plus default setup plus being in the F2 cars. He must be really just wanting to get this race over and done with. And hopefully at least a repaired wing, he can have a bit more of a chance. Piloto, he's going to have the DRS and slope on Hayden. Is he going to try anything? He is gaining. Hayden goes defensive. Oh, was that a double move or was that him just taking his line?
It was fine. It was legal. I think the issue there, Hayden defended for no reason. Piloto wasn't actually trying to get a move done on Hayden there at all. He was just trying to get out of his toe because he didn't want to overshoot the braking zone. So Hayden misread the maneuver, but now it's cost him. Look at this, coming through turn 5 there. Here comes Piloto Paya. The move should be locked in here. There's no way that Hayden can defend this, or can he? He does fall back. He backs out just a touch, but he's still in with a shot of taking this podium position. He has to continue being clean. He has to continue keeping a gap managed to Piloto Paya and then get onto that DRS straight on the final lap, which Jack is not far away from starting.
Yep, he is. Where is he? He's just about into the last sector. Hayden, he's going to have DRS on Piloto. Don't think there's going to be any kind of move, or at least even an attempt at a move. Lando's gets another penalty. I believe he already had one, so that's not going to help his battle with Puff Puff. And yeah, Hayden not quite close enough, but if Piloto gets a penalty and Hayden keeps it clean, as you say, he's still definitely got a chance at this podium.
Yeah, so penalty situation is Foxy with 2, Jeb with 2, Lando's Milton with 4, Puff Puff with 2, Ravenduck with 6. So penalties will affect a fair few position changes here, as Lando's, who has 4, will lose to Puff Puff behind him as long as Puff Puff doesn't get another one, and or can stay within the 2-second margin. So good stuff from him. Foxy, though, he's in trouble. He's going to lose out to default. In fact, who's actually closing in on him already. They're going for a move here before the DRS is even activated. He's now got the wing wide open. And yeah, Fox is just going to be a sitting duck throughout the entirety of this straight. Tucks back in behind him. Might go for a last second yeet. He decides against it. Very smart there for him to do so. And Bika gets up to P7. Good from him.
Yeah, just a nice simple DRS move. Didn't have to do anything fancy. Did what he had to do. Marquez, he's getting close to, I believe that's his teammate Jeb. Looks like they're in the same car. Yes. Both in the ART. They need to make sure not to have a collision. Jeb's got a penalty, so Marquez doesn't need to pass him on track to get that position.
Yeah, but he might try it anyway. There's nothing better than adding that salt to the wound by passing them as well, which looks like he's going to do exactly that. They are wheel to wheel. There's contact between the teammates. That is less than ideal. And Ravenduck has retired. Is that a crash or is that voluntary? That looks voluntary to me. It's still moving. They're still going at it, these two. Marquez and Jeb. They're still scrapping. Jeb does not want to surrender this whatsoever. A P9 would be nice. He will double up his point that he's currently got right now, but he's got to keep it clean enough to not get any damage. He needs to try and force Marquez to get a penalty there.
Which, is Jed playing on a keyboard at the moment?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it looks very sort of keyboard movement on the wheel.
I think Marquez is in the same boat. I think he's also on keyboard. I know he normally does race on keyboard, but Jack has crossed the line and won. Aviator will come around the final corner as well, and he's had a very lonely race up to P2. Piloto Pirate will lock in P3. Hayden Gullis gets P4 with Default coming up behind now in P5 with Foxy P6. Beaker will get P7, and then it will be Markin getting P8. Now remember, the top 8 all get flipped and reversed, so it will be Markin starting on pole in the sprint race right after this.
Puff and Lando, their battle hasn't ended. Puff passed into the penultimate corner but had a bad exit. Lando's back past, but with that extra penalty, it was a foregone conclusion anyway. Sonic Jr. comes in 13th, and Burrito Bandito 52 seconds behind his teammate.
Yeah, he'll be a while.
Especially with no front wing.
Yeah, exactly. He's got 0 front wing right now, so big sad for Burrito Bandito, but he stayed committed. He could have retired, but he hasn't. Fair play to him.
Yep, he can now say he's officially beaten a Turno in a race with no front wing.
It's true. Imagine that claim there. That's a claim and a half, isn't it?
When they... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, these F2 cars are really not easy to maneuver with a front wing. Imagine them without a front wing.
It's quite literally driving a boat on the track at that point, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Here he goes. Round the last corner, across the line, and that is race 1 over.
Yes, and actually, very important to point this out now, is that those points that Beaker got in the qualifying will obviously help him stay alive and relevant in this next race. He needs those 4 points to help him as if he wants to get this overall weekend win. All of the pressure now falls onto this final sprint race. Now, if I remember correctly, he finished P6, I think, so he should still qualify. P7, sorry. So he's actually going to be on the first row of the grid coming into this. He's in a really good position to actually survive this, but he was in P1 at the start of that race. So the issue there for Beaker is he needs to avoid whatever happened on that one in the last race to stop it from happening again. So we've seen the results there. The only real change between the last race and the overall points is that Beaker is ahead of Foxy due to the 4 points that he got for the qualifying. So he's up to P6, 2 points clear of Foxy behind him. So sprint race is very much all to play for. Beaker would need... I don't think Beaker can actually now jump Jack. I think he can get definitely up to P2. But he would need the win and fastest lap just to tie with Jack.
And I doubt Jack's going to get no points.
No.
So...
But I mean, even then, Aviator, he's looked really good. He's got an opportunity here to even snatch this away from Jack. So even if he gets P1, he's going to get 15 points there, which is more than clear of what Jack has done. And if he can secure a fastest lap, it is pretty good. However, Jack is looking so good coming into this race. He's looking very, very clear to take this this overall weekend win. And I think this might be one of his first. I don't think he's actually done it before. I haven't got it all written down anywhere. I'm just trying to remember from memory.
I think you're right. I think it would be the first. He hasn't done that many, if I remember correctly.
He did them last season. Not last season. Last season. But yeah, this is one of the few that he's done this season. I think he may have done one more before this. But we are 5 seconds away from getting underway with the sprint race here for the final time in the F2 cars before we get into the big guns, the big cars, the F1 series here in the RNL.
Is this one of the first times this season we've had every session be dry?
No. I'm pretty sure we've had dry for most of the F2 race. Oh my word. That was Beaker taking an interesting line through there. I can inform you guys that is not how you take the run through turn 1. Okay. Sapso, I need your prediction, please. I need you 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I think Beaker's going to take extra caution in avoiding Wham lap 1. I think he's going to get the win. I think maybe Jack P2 because he's been looking supremely quick so far, and Piloto P3.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Beaker, Piloto, Hayden.
That's actually very... I was trying to think of some way to put Hayden on my top 3 of us. Yeah, every time I've predicted him to do well, he hasn't done as well as I'd hoped. So I'm maybe, if I don't say he's in the top 3, maybe he'll get the podium.
I think you should put your money where your mouth is and put a prediction in that you can reliably say, this is the one.
Okay.
Do you want to put a wager on one? The closest person to get it right.
Sure.
Wins.
Yeah.
If I win, you gift me a sub. If you win, I gift you a sub.
Possibly.
He does sound very sure of yourself there. Suddenly your prediction is just, actually, to be honest, I mean, look, Hayden is very good. We've talked about this plenty of times. He's really good at keeping it consistent, as he's just proved in that last race, and it has helped him out in the past. In the sprint races is where he's done the best whenever he has raced. But, and this is the biggest but, and I cannot lie, he does struggle with avoiding contact with some of the drivers on the track. It's...
Also, look how far behind he is at the moment.
Yeah, I think this is intentional. I think this is very intentional.
Oh, this is very, very intentional, you can tell. So, is this all just the launching? It's Hayden, Foxy, is that...
What they're doing... what they're doing is all the people who went ahead, they're making them have cold tires for the race.
Yes.
That's literally the reason why they're doing this.
Yeah. Seen it in previous races, obviously just not quite to this extent.
No, this is excessive. I think that maybe...
Wonder if it's going to be investigated.
Oh, it will. It will. I can assure you this will be investigated. This is naughty. They're not meant to do this even in real life.
Jeb's waited so long he's left the session.
He thinks his game's broken, that's why. Like, what's going on? Where is everyone?
Why have we not started yet? Right, they finally arrived at the grid. Nearly ready to go. Everyone's on super softs. So there should be no mixing of pace with that.
Well, we'll get this one sorted out. However, it is time for us to get ready here. When the lights do come on, I can eventually go to the right screen. There they are. As Beaker is on the first row of the grid in second place. Can he jump up to P1? Markin getting a very nice start there. Foxy in a similar sort of position. In fact, actually, Foxy looks to be getting a fantastic start. Surely could even go for a move here to get P1. This is going to be very tight and tense. Looking for a 3 wide here. Foxy's kind of been boxed in. He can't really go anywhere. Beaker's got the inside line against Markin coming in towards turn 1. I think Beaker might actually take the lead here. Default has had a bit of contact between him and Foxy. Bit of a mistake there from him as well. Has actually forced him down the field a little bit. He's fallen all the way down to P6 as Aviator and Jack have swamped him. They are up now. Hayden Gullis is falling down to P7. He's going to need a lot more than what he's got right now if he wants to try and score big.
Yeah. Where is Piloto? He's down to 11, so it's been another poor start for the second Carlin car. Oh, there's damage.
Yeah, Burrito Bandita made a mistake and went into the back, and he's off into the wall. That was a big crash there. It's very surprised that is not a DNF immediately. We are still racing. Everything's still okay enough. Jack is looking for Foxy. He's going to try and get him done here on the exit. He's get a much better exit and look right the way down the field and get a little pass here. Foxy in trouble. Can Jack get down the inside? It's inside for here, but it's the outside for next, but then inside again. Foxy's actually got a better line, better pace. Jack is going to lay on the brakes. Bit of contact, bit of rotation, but he's kept it under control. Foxy in a similar sort of position too. Bit of mistakes being made further downfield. That was Marquez who went very far off the track there and fell down 2 places. But he's actually managed to recover 1 on Puff Puff.
As now Aviator is actually one of this little group as well as Hayden. Default Sentries form behind. That's a yellow flag. Is that Puff Puff?
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Off into the wall he goes. Beaker has set the fastest lap lane of the session so far. The telemetry is starting to bug out a little bit at the top left, so ignore what you see for now. We are in fact on lap 2. DRS has not yet been enabled, and the drivers are all getting very feisty. So it's Marken in P2. It is Jack P3, Aviator P4, and penalties starting to show here.
Yep, big one. Foxy has already got a penalty. So that could be his chance of a podium already over if everyone else keeps it clean.
Oh, Jack and Mark are going side by side as well, coming through turn 5. Jack has managed to get himself ahead now. He is up to P2. So Jack is looking very good for taking this overall weekend win here. Again, the telemetry on the left-hand side is bugged out. We know that. It will fix itself at the start of the next lap.
And look, this is a very close cam now, isn't it? Foxy, Aviator, and Hayden Aviator trying down the inside of Foxy. Had to back out the last moment, but look at Hayden. He's looking for any dink in the armor now. These boys, Jack's gone past Merkin. I think you already may have pointed out. Foxy's had a bad exit again. He doesn't seem to like that corner. Hayden's in the slipstream. Aviator's already got past, but look, Foxy again, like you said last lap, he's got that good straight line speed. Is it going to be 3 wide?
Hell of a scrap there. Foxy, he made a mistake. There's contact between them. Hayden's been caught up in that as well. I think he just got slammed into a little bit there. Foxy and Aviator both got penalties as a result of that. I mean, it was an aggressive defense maneuver there from Foxy. I don't think Aviator really anything else he could have done there. I think Foxy needs to retract those elbows a little bit.
Yeah, I think he was trying to pull away from one driver, banged into the other, and then the rest is history from there.
Yeah.
Peloto having a very good exit on Lando's Milkman, who of course will still have the default setup. DRS is enabled this lap, so he should be able to get past with that. Lando's not leaving too much space. And actually, Peloto not getting past even DRS, so Lando's had it as well.
Yeah. Lando's did a very good job there to hold on to that, but a mistake there, or at least understeer there, has cost him that position. Peloto is going to be down the inside. They are still kind of alongside, but when it all comes down to it, Lando's will lose out here. He can't stick it through the inside, which he's just found out, and he will now fall down to P9. It's a very tough line to hold through that. Very much impossible to do that right and well. Aviator then on the back of Foxer here. Yellow flag. That is Ravenduck, who's retired again. Unfortunate for him. That is the second DNF in a row.
And I think that one is actually a crash that time.
Yeah, looks it to me. Here we go then. Aviator getting the DRS on Foxy. Last time they were together on this side of the track, they had a collision and it ended up in pain for both of them. Now, it ends up being Aviator getting through. Foxy's got it again. This is just too aggressive, Foxy. You can't be sending it like this and hoping that it just works out. It doesn't work like that. Be careful. And no wonder you have wing damage. Yeah, you may... And you got another penalty. The aggression was just too high.
Yeah, it's just... It's the kind of thing you've seen with some certain F2 drivers we will not name. It's similar heated moments to that. He's got the DRS, but he's going to be way, way back. Not going to be able to name can move. Interesting, Hayden, he's in line to get P3. If he stays within that penalty margin of Merkin, he's very good to actually get the podium.
Yeah, Ayrton managed to get moved on Landos in the final corner. Now it's been a return of position as Landos has got through due to the DRS, and Marquez, he went for a send down the inside into turn 2. It didn't work out, and he gets rotated and falls down to P10. Suddenly, Landos is in a point position. This is good for him, but he does have Ayrton looking for him.
And he has a penalty, so also got to keep that in mind. Of course, everyone around him could also get penalties, but again, I think it's also the default, so that we have to come to that. It's a lot harder to keep within track limits when you haven't got quite the downforce you want, or the mechanical grip you want from a suspension setup that you need. Aviator's got 6 seconds of penalties, so even Peloto might get him at this point.
Well, Peloto will jump 2 people at this point. But that's just the scenario that he's in. He'll easily get P5 out of this. Not a problem at all. He just has to continue doing as he's doing, keep himself clean, as we have the remainder of this lap and the full amount of next, where we can see a potential overtake or two happening. Eterno is once more on the back of Lando's Milkman. He had a little bit of a scrap coming through there, but it has ended up being Lando's just getting a little bit out of shape through there. Eterno looking for an inside line into this left chicane. Oh, I think Lando's turned a bit too early there, it looked like to me. Needs to just be a bit careful. And then again, he is also driving on default. And again, I know that pain is awful. I hated it so much.
Yeah, and actually, Eterno's got damage. So it's a reverse of what Lando's had last race, where he was the one with damage. And those around him didn't. But he's got the DRS, he's got the slipstream. Eterno goes defensive. Lando goes to the left on the outside. Marquez, he's gone down to the inside. Are they going to try 3 wide? Oh, I think they wanted to, but Eterno backed out. Marquez didn't. He's paid the price, and now Eterno's going to be hunting down Lando to try and get that 8th place back on track.
Yeah, this is going to be a fight and a half then. So Pluto Pie is obviously all over the back of Foxy, as you can see. However, he isn't quite able to get past him. Not that this is necessarily the end of the world. However, that gap is starting to extend between him and Aviator. And if it continues with this sort of level of scrap, it may end up extending enough for Aviator to hold on to his current P5 place. And regardless, Pluto will gain at least 1 place. That would be on Foxy. But if he can get this maneuver done here, which it looks like he's trying to do, into the DRS zone, he's got the DRS locked on. That has been ticked for him. As Foxy trying to get a better exit, didn't quite get the exit he needed. He is very much in the toe of Piloto, but the DRS wing will help him out so much more. The only way this is going to benefit Foxy is if he goes for some sort of crazy send, which he hasn't done, so good job. Because that would have been the nail in the coffin, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, definitely. If he had gone for that would have just been goodbye top 8. So thankfully, Ad's been able to keep it clean this time. Lando, I believe, gets 2nd penalty. As Beaker's won the race, Jack's 2nd. And Haynes just on that cusp. Is he going to get the podium? Let's find out. No, he stays 4th.
So close. But Piloto, boom, goes up to P5. Well done to him. Aviator will finish P6. Foxy P7. Lando's movement will cross the line P8, but he loses out to both the drivers behind him. Eterno gets that final point. Alright then. I mean, it was scrappy, to say the least. We saw a lot of damage. We saw a lot of mistakes. A lot of aggression, I think is the only word we can use to describe that. People just needed to rein it in a little bit. But other than that, good race.
Yeah. Definitely eventful, I think we can use
100% eventful, yeah. There's no doubt about that. We'll have the rundown for you in just a short while. We are currently waiting for Default, who's just crossed the line, and Burrito Bandito, who is quite the way back. He has a wing this time.
Yeah. So he's been able to beat Eterno without a front wing, but not with a front wing. Very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. I mean, he just looked like he's struggling with the lines, to be honest.
Is he on controller or keyboard?
Controller.
Looks a bit more like controller, yeah.
Yeah. And there he goes. We'll get confirmation, but I'm pretty sure Jack has won the overall weekend. He came P2, I believe, in this race, which means, yeah, huge points for him. But the driver of the day, Eterno. I didn't see how many places he gained. I can't remember where he started.
I think he started about... Oh no, he would have been at the back because he retired from the first race.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he started P17 and finished P8. So, well done to him for getting driver of the day. Fastest lap went to Jack again. So Jack could have actually had, almost, the full weekend win. Had he actually just finished in P1, and also got the pole position lap, he would have actually got the full points. But he doesn't. However, he still wins the overall weekend with Jack there, P1, 41 points, with Beaker in P2 on 25. Aviator P3, Piloto P4, Hayden P5, Markin P6, Default P7, Foxy P8, Marquez P9, Jeb P10, Eterno P11, Lando's Milkman, Puff Puff, and Gio, along with the remaining drivers of Tiger Jr., Burrito Bandito, and Raven Duck, all score 0. That's it for the F2s, but do not go anywhere because very soon we will be underway with the F1 Grand Prix.